Well, I mean, you said that how many tons did you?
67,000 tons. So $3,000 per kilo times 67 tons. And we got big because money was never the case.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you always walked into it with integrity?
Well, that too. But I'm sure a mentor of yours once always said to me, if you love what you do, money will always follow. As long as you walk the path of what you love, it's not really work. Money will always follow you. You don't need to follow it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Chat.Travel. I'm your host, Tracy May. And today, you know, sometimes you're really psyched to go to work. This would be one of those days. For any of you who follow me on social media or know me at all, know that I am a caviar fiend. When I was a kid, my mother used to buy a kilo of caviar and open it every Christmas morning, and we called it the black jam. Well, today, I get to eat some caviar with a really good friend of mine. He is the founder of Caspiar Caviar. My really good friend, Jonathan Dinh. Welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here, and how fortuitous that our schedules finally collided so I can actually be here with you, and congratulations on the fabulous show.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, you're all over the world, and we'll get into that. You know, it's unbelievable that I caught you. I'm so glad you're here. So I want to just get into the beginnings. I know you grew up you're American. You grew up in America.
Don't
tell
hold
us,
it against me. Yes.
Trust, especially right now. So tell me about where you grew up. I know you were in finance. What ended up bringing you back to Vietnam?
Well, as you know, I was born in Vietnam, and I was a boat person. My mom and I were boat people, and we, by the good graces of God, we were sponsored by 7 Christian families into Massachusetts, and so we were there for a while, and I migrated to California. Had my formative years there. Then I went to USC. Luckily, did some good stuff. Played a little tennis, and made my way to Europe. And made my way to Wall Street. I was a financier, investment banker. Knock on wood, I did pretty well during those days. And then I decided to just leave it all, retire my first time at the age of 26. Then...
You retired at 26?
My first time.
Your first time.
My first time.
Right.
My first time, yeah. Then I finally just I wanted to get my MBA. So I went over to Cambridge. I took my classes and stuff. And that was where I met a very good friend. We started talking. I was very interested in technology and what he was doing. Finally got into it, and it was amazing. It was basically voice over IP on steroids back then. Then at the age of 30, I was really old by then, you know? I mean, I've done so much. Finally gave up the whole entourage and retired my second time. There you go.
But you got bored.
I did. Honestly, let me tell you a little bit about retirement. When you're young, you want to retire young. You want to jet set around the world. You want to visit friends. You want to date everybody that moves, right?
Right.
For the first 2 years, I traveled all over the world visiting my friends and stuff like that. But after a while, I figured out they wouldn't pick up my phone calls anymore. I would call them for lunch. They're like, Jonathan, I can't have lunch or dinner with you again.
I gotta work, bro.
I gotta work. So I was like, oh, man. So I went back to Asia. I was living in Singapore at the time. So I wanted to do charity work. And seeing as how I was from Vietnam, I went back to Vietnam for a few years, and I started doing charity, opened a school, an English school for kids and stuff like that. And that's when it hit me. I know it's kind of a groaner that I say this, but love at first sight, it kind of hit me. Found the person I was meant to be with, and never looked back. There I was, right here in Vietnam.
Okay, so you've worn so many hats in your career. You have been a chef. You have owned restaurants. you have had your hands in so many different baskets. How did you go from finance? Because Peter Kung Franklin, same thing. He was a Wall Street guy who became a master chef. So what brought you into F&B and your passion for food?
Well, honestly, my passion for food was a very young age. My mom is a self-taught chef. And when I was in school, when I was 15, 16, for summer, she would send me to cooking school, CCA, California Culinary Academy.
Okay.
And my joke of the day was, you know what? While other people were learning to swim, I was boning a chicken. That was my joke of the day.
You were boning a chicken.
I was boning a chicken. And I opened my first restaurant when I was 23, my senior year in college. It was called La Maison in San Jose, San Francisco Bay Area. And back then, I didn't really know what Michelin was. So I came in one day and there was a line out the door. I went in, I asked my GM, I'm like, do we have reservations today or what's going on, dude? It's like, we just got a star. I'm like, how the hell did we get a star? And what star did we get? I had no idea. The things we were doing back then, I was doing because I loved the food that my mom made and I wanted to incorporate my classical French training with a lot of the flavors that I grew up with, you know?
So not to use the F word, but was it a fusion?
It was classical, no, it was classically French, but I added, yeah, I guess you could call it slight fusion because I added broth, like an egg yolk. I would take out half the yolk and I would put in a broth that I made that I really liked, you know? And this was literally before Ichigari did it too. So that was a long time ago. But whatever the case was, it's always been on my blood. I loved it. When I was in Europe, I studied for my sommelier's license. I love wine to no end. For anybody who knows me and see me drinking every day, not profusely, of course, but love wine, went into my sommelier's license at the quartermasters. And when I came back here, I mean, food and wine has always been part of my blood. Like most of the chefs, I think all the chefs you've interviewed here, you're either born into it or you appreciate it so much it becomes part of your soul. I was born into it because coming over from the US, my mother didn't have a formal education in the US. So the only jobs that she could get was housekeeping and cook and stuff like that. And so she was a cook. And so the way she showed me love was on her day off, she would say, what do you want to cook? What do you want to eat? I'll make it for you. And I was in the kitchen with her, you know? Just like every Italian nonna, every Italian mom and their son. It's like, I'm going to make you Sunday, sauce. It's going to take the whole day, help me out. Let's go ahead and do the Trinity, the onions, carrots, and celery, and I'll show you how to make the sauce. That was how it was. So poor people learn how to cook. Rich people go to summer camp. I was poor.
Okay.
It was really fun though. But to answer your question, it's always been in my blood, really. My mom still cooks to this day, and I still cook for the family.
I've eaten your food.
Thank you.
And it's unbelievable. And I'm going to share a little, because this is a good friend of mine. I've been to his house. I've had the privilege of drinking his wine. This guy has got a wine cellar in his place, and he is a vintage wine collector. The kind of guy who literally will go to an auction at Christie's, bid on a case of some vintage something, win it, and then decide to crack it and share it with all the staff at Christie's. He's that kind of guy. So yeah, I've had the privilege of being able to drink your wine.
Thank you.
And how we first met, to segue into the caviar, is I'm formerly the senior editor of Epicure Vietnam magazine, which is the foremost magazine in Asia for culinary and for hospitality. And I was scrolling Instagram and I saw a post about a caviar rave. And I'm like, what?
What's a caviar rave?
A caviar rave? And so I DM'd the social media person. I was like, hi, I'm Tracy. I heard about your caviar rave. Oh, Miss Tracy, yes, we would love to have you. Please, Jonathan, it would be his privilege. So I went to this caviar rave and sat next to John.
You did.
And got to experience your hospitality and your knowledge of wines and your knowledge of food. So let's get into your little pet project after your 6th reincarnation back in business. Is Caspiar Caviar.
It is.
So tell the audience, it's such a great story about how you decided to become
Get into caviar.
a caviar
It's
guy.
actually a really funny story.
It's an awesome
honestly,
story.
At the end of the day, I didn't expect to do this. I mean, our house, we eat about almost a kilo a month, right? So I was helping my friend. I was consulting for a restaurant back then in Vietnam, in Saigon, called the Metropolitan Grill. It was amazing. It was a great little place. I was there for a year. And these 2 Frenchmen came in and says, Jonathan, can we sell you some caviar? Wow. I looked at them seriously and was like, you can always sell me caviar.
You had me at hello.
Exactly. And they opened it up and I tasted it. I was like, wow, the flavor is quite good. It's a bit too salty for me, but I looked at them. I'm like, this is good. And I said, is this from Paraguay? Is this from South America? Is it from China? Where is this from? They're like, no, it's from Vietnam. I was like, no, seriously, where's it from? They're like, no, seriously, it's from Vietnam. I was like, I didn't know Vietnam could produce caviar at the time. And this was about 70 years ago. And so I'm like, okay. So I found the farm. I did some research. I found the farm. I called the owner. I flew up and I was walking with him for about 30 minutes. He showed me the farm. He showed me what he was doing. And then I just said, stop. Yes. He's Russian. So I said, da. And he's da what? It's like, I want to work with you. And he's like, okay, what do you want to do? I'm like, okay, first off, I would like for you to do a recipe for me. This is my recipe for caviar. I want you to lower the salt. I want you to do what I would like you to do. I'm going to create a brand. So Caspiar used to be an island in the Caspian Sea that sank in the 1950s. So I bought the name, the rights to it. So we're registered and everything. So I called it Caspiar, and we only handpicked the best caviar to put in Caspiar, and the salt content is only 2.8 to 3%. Because I'm an old man. I remember the days of Petrosian. I remember the days when you sit in New York having Royal Iranian Gold caviar with a nice bottle of 1990 Veuve Clicquot Rondel. I remember it not being salty. I remember you can taste the creaminess, that unctuous umami that when you bite in it, it just makes you roll your eyes, you know?
I'm literally drooling.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring that back, but I live in Vietnam, and back then, honestly, I think the market per month was about 10 kilos sold in Vietnam. So I'm like, you know what? I want to make sure that Vietnamese people have the luxury that everybody else in the world has. So I created this brand for Vietnam and for Asia, and I took what Vietnam has. To me, this is the end all and be all of luxury products in Vietnam. I mean, you can say cordyceps, you can say bird nest. Yeah, well, bird nest you can make in a few weeks. Caviar, you gotta wait years, sometimes a decade.
All right.
Yeah, so that's how we started, and then it kind of spun on, and our brand was so nice, so well received, that we bought into a farm in China, and then we bought another farm in China. Now we have 3 farms in China, and last year our company exported about 67 tons of caviar.
Oh my God.
In literally 7 years. Minus the 2 years of COVID.
So we're going to get into that because that's insane how quickly you have scaled. But so was this the Russian guy who actually, how did he get did he bring in sturgeon A? Or like, what did he do to bring the fish? Because it's not native to this country.
It's not at all. He bought spawnings he bought spawnings from Europe into Vietnam. And then he did a hatchery, and he did 2 farms, one for caviar and one for sturgeon meat. So the males, they would grow for sturgeon meat, but the females he would keep up there. And it was amazing because out of the 10,000 spawnings that he bought into Vietnam, there were 2 albino spawnings. And so he kept spawning the albinos just to hopefully get, albino sturgeon. They call it white pearls on the open market. So they're pure white sturgeon caviar. And the thing is, when you spawn 2 albino sturgeons, you don't get an albino sturgeon. You just get whatever you get. But the more you spawn them, the more chances you get. Now, Dalat is one of 2 farms in the world that I know of that can do albino sturgeon white pearls, and it's absolutely amazing.
Wow.
And this is Vietnam. So Vietnam in the forefront, something a lot of people don't know. There's a lot of things in Vietnam that chefs need to be here to understand.
And so I know that you have your farm in Dalat, and you also have your massive farm in China as well.
Yes.
And you grow specific sturgeon in Vietnam and others.
Yes.
What are the fish, and did you choose the spawning because of the
spawning? Because in Vietnam, the conditions in Vietnam are not as robust as in China and stuff like that. Vietnam's a very hot country.
Right.
Dalat, even though it's in the mountain, our farm's 110 acres, and there's a creek that runs through it, and the water stays around between 10 to 15 degrees all year round. And so it's very nice for sturgeon. But the caviar that is grown up there is a sterlet. So it's a small sturgeon, and the eggs they're very beautiful. They're very yummy, but it's a bit it's a bit small, it's a bit soft. So we can really only grow that. They have a few Ossetras.
And what kind of caviar is that? Is it Ossetra? Is it
It's not.
Sevruga? No,
Okay, so the four caviar that everybody knows about is Sevruga, Ossetra, Ossetra, and then Beluga and stuff like that. Those are the 3. The sterlet is below that. The sterlet is, a lot of people would call a poor man's caviar. So the Russians in the past, they would have so much of the sterlet, they would give it for free at bars. Back in the 70s and 80s, there was so much sturgeon, and the sturgeons only grow up to be about 20 kilos, 16 to 20 kilos. They're very small sturgeon. That's as big as they get. So the eggs are smaller, but the flavor is very nice. It's just a lot of people want their caviar to be bigger, have that crunch, as you say, have that little snap when you pop it. So sterlet doesn't have that, and Vietnam grows mostly that, and so it's a bit soft, but the color is beautiful. The flavor is very nice. Unfortunately, I'm not quite sure how sustainable it is in Dalat to have that. So we still work with the farm in Dalat. We partner with them, but we don't really.
That's not where your core business is now in China.
Yeah. In China, I mean.
Is it because the water is better? You told me once that it's like, a mountain spring and.
2000, no, our big farm in China is in Chengdu. So it's in the mountains.
Right.
And it's in this area where the aqueduct is over 2,000 years old. And water keeps flowing through, so you get fresh water every day. It's in this lake, and it's a huge lake. We have about 900,000 sturgeons up there producing caviar. And the conditions up there, the water's so cold. We have Ossetra. We have Russian sturgeon that produces the beautiful Ossetra. And then we also have a Moor, which is a cross between the Husodaricus, which is a sweetwater beluga, and the Asapinter shrinky, which is an Amur, and a Amur sturgeon found in the Han River, Amur River up in China. So it is wonderful. It's all farmed. All caviar nowadays come from farmed sturgeon. It's illegal to actually pull a sturgeon out of the water wild, kill it for caviar. We've basically, the human race, it can be a little daunting at times. We have taken something that is wild, that is natural, that is beautiful, and we have run it into existent, you know.
Oh.
Yeah. And now we have the farmers.
You're very kind. I say often that we're more of the virus of this planet. We have eaten all of our natural resources, and unfortunately, Russia has, they're fished away. They're becoming extinct. So, it's, the farming of the sturgeon, you're actually saving the population, ironically, even though it's being farmed for the eggs, but you do it in a sustainable way by selling the meat and eating the meat and using the whole fish, where before it was just take the eggs and that's it.
Exactly.
Right?
They were throwing sturgeons back in the sea. They were just letting it rot. I mean, when we do a harvest caviar, whatever sturgeon is left or meat is left, we sell it to the locals for basically dirt cheap. And if or we give it away, as long as it goes to somewhere where it's being eaten, it's being used and stuff like that. I mean, sustainability is something that we really do concentrate on, and we thrive to try to do our best. I'm not going to say we're 100% sustainable, because nothing in this world is.
Right.
But we do our best to do what we need to do in order to have the species survive. Because in my lifetime and in yours, how many species have we seen extinct? It's unfathomable for us to see this.
Right.
And so sturgeons, yes, caviar is great, but we have to look at it as a prehistoric creature. It's one of those, it's like a shark. It's been around for millions of years. It hasn't changed. We need to keep this.
And respect it.
Yeah, beyond the fact that it gives us good meat and good caviar. Beyond that, we have to actually see the humanity in it. So,
on that tip, I know that you have some caviar here.
We do.
Can we take a little snack break and let's talk about what you brought?
Absolutely. May I?
Please.
So today I brought you 2 caviar. We just had a new batch come in literally 2 days ago.
Oh, lucky me.
This is our ossetra, which we were just talking about. All right. And it is absolutely beautiful. The eggs are big, they're bold, they're gorgeous, and they're so elegant. I do love. Honestly, I don't care what people say. Everybody wants beluga just because it's so rare. Ossetra is where it's at, honey. All right? To me, it's a chef's
I like it Sevruga, to be honest with you, because I grew up on Sevruga.
I did too, but you can't get Sevruga nowadays. It's been fished out of existence. There's some farms that are farming it, but honestly, it's a crossbreed between something else. It's sad. I will never eat true Sevruga again in my life. And I want to. But the next best thing is ossetra.
Yes, agreed.
So, as you and I are purists, we have blinis here, but as you and I are purists, we cannot have blinis. So, may I serve you?
Yes, please.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what they call a caviar bump. Or, if you're a drug dealer, this is how you get high.
I'm literally going to cry right now, guys. I am in my happy place.
So, this was made literally on the 18th of July. Just barely a week ago, and it's here, and I hope you enjoy it. So, a lot of people say, you know what? Why is it so expensive? Well, let's pretend pho. I love pho. Pho is great, and it takes 15 minutes to make when you're there, right? And it takes 2 or 3 days to make the broth and stuff like that, and it's beautiful. But this ossetra takes 17 to 21 years to make. That's why it's so expensive.
Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Boom.
Thank you.
Oh my God, John. Cheers. Incredible. So I can only assume that there is a massive learning curve when it comes to the consumer market. I know that you mostly work with all the best hotels, and you work with all the best chefs, and you use the chefs really as your mouthpieces, because you do little to no advertising, and you do very, I see a sponsored post every, I follow the brand. That's why I'll actually see it, and we're friends on Facebook. Other than that, you wouldn't even know about it because you're not out there in the retail space. So with something that is so new, really, this luxury product to Vietnam, how do you educate your consumer, especially the middle class. You and I grew up on this, where this is our thing, but
Yes.
we grew up in a different time and a place, right?
Yeah.
How do you teach the middle class of Vietnam to enjoy caviar?
One person at a time. It is the most difficult thing, as most chefs would tell you in Vietnam. A new cuisine, a new ingredient, something here that people have never seen before, and it's not cheap.
No.
Caviar was never cheap, never has been. As affordable as our caviar is, and our caviar in Vietnam, as good as this is, it is the most affordable caviar in Vietnam, and it's still pretty high. So those who contact us, we do a little bit of retail, but we're opening up more, and we try to educate the public as much as we can. But the only way to educate them is by doing small events at chefs, restaurants and stuff, getting people in, getting them excited about what they're tasting. Because everybody loves Chef's Table. Everybody loves cooking shows. Everybody sees ingredients that every other country has that we don't. And now we have this, and we want people to enjoy it. We want people to understand that, hey, you are now part of that 1% of the world that can get to eat this and enjoy it. And yes, your salary may not be hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but that can't, Caspiar is here to make sure that it's not about just the money. It's about an identity. We have this, you can have it. We want you to have it. We want you to try. Take a chance. It's not for everybody. As you know, it's not for everybody. There are people who don't like caviar. Oh, it's too fishy. Well, that's what you say when you eat seafood. It's too fishy. But I've never had, and I can say this wholeheartedly, I've never had a person eat our caviar and say, I don't really like this. It's genuine. It's not salty. It's something where they close their eyes and they taste the sea. They taste what can be, what is, and what is in their mouth at the moment. How many people can live in the moment nowadays? Very few. Shut off your phone, close your eyes, take a bite, and savor everything that life has given you to this point. That's what caviar is. So it's hard not to be romantic about it. It got you and me here.
1,000%. But how do you, because, this is your passion. This is your baby. You're an aficionado, right? But how do you translate that love and that passion to someone who's never experienced it, except to say, trust me, or let me share my love with you, or, how do you make that resonate to make them understand in a culture that this was never a thing before?
It's not.
It's introducing a luxury product to a market where it didn't really exist. Yes, there was a small company before you started this,
Yes.
but you're the big boy now.
Yes.
So that's really my question. Is it through social media? Like, is it because you don't advertise? So
We don't.
you don't do influencers. You've been on Top Chef. You've done some TV yourself, but
Yes.
a lot of that is in English.
It
It's
is.
not even in Vietnamese.
It
So
is.
how do you educate the guy down the street to give it a go, give it a shot?
Well,
And I'm gonna have a bite of caviar. while
please,
you're
by
explaining
all
that.
means. For us, we do word of mouth. We have a zero marketing budget. We market by doing sponsorships. We market by doing caviar raves and just having a good time. We target local chefs and chefs who are real expats who live here, not just here on a contract and leaving. We want them to showcase our caviar and caviar. Again, we're not here to talk about my caviar. We're here to talk about caviar as an ingredient. So caviar is amazing. Caspiar is amazing. Styria, Petrosian, all these great fine houses. We taste different from them, but we're caviar, and we all have great reputations in this space. So we all use chefs to promote what it is. Other companies, they use social media, marketing, and whatnot. We choose to be more boutique. And for us, it's never been about the money. Never have been. For us, it's more about, can we give the chefs that ingredient that they've been dying to use, but their restaurant, their dishes, their customer base doesn't have the means to afford it. I remember using truffle for the first time. Oh my gosh, I was giddy for a week. I mean, the first time I shaved a Paragon black truffle over a steak, over eggs at my restaurant, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually shaving truffles. Something that I've eaten, I wanted to have for my restaurant, but I couldn't afford it at the time. Now we want to make sure that chefs can afford it for their customer base. That's the only way we can get the education out. And it's not through us, it's through you chefs. It's all the chefs that use caviar, that use high-end ingredients and make it affordable for the customers.
Excellent. So I want to talk about that ingredient, because you always say that it's not a garnish.
Yes.
It's an ingredient.
Yes.
And I've been privileged to attend several dinners now that were hosted by Caspiar, and caviar was really incorporated within the dish and not just a little blop for decor or a little dollop for just to make it look fabulous. It was actually an ingredient that was very deeply incorporated into the flavor profile of these dishes. So what is your favorite dish to make that incorporates caviar?
Oh my gosh. It's the most simplest thing to make, and everybody who buys their first caviar says, how do I eat this? Do I get bread? Do I get butter? I'm like, no. The first thing you do is a caviar bump. Put it on your hand, lift it up to your nose, not your mouth, and smell it. There should be no fishy smell. You should smell oil. You should smell umami. Everybody talks about the taste of umami. Nobody talks about the smell of umami. Then you put it in your mouth. You leave it on your palate for 3 to 5 seconds, and let it melt a little bit. The oils will melt down. Then you push it up to the roof of your mouth, and you get little pops. These bursts of flavor as each grain just kind of more or less just separates, and then you taste the flavor of the ocean, everything all at one time. But to answer your question, my favorite thing to make is really the simplest thing. Eggs and caviar, scrambled eggs and caviar.
Scrambled eggs and caviar.
How many times have you and I grew up on a Sunday morning making scrambled eggs when we're like 7, 10 years old, and open the fridge, and if there's creme fraiche, we grab it. We put a dollop on, we put a little bit of caviar on, and we just sit there by ourselves on a Sunday morning when everybody's still asleep, and we're like,
life is good.
Life is good. Life is good. And I'm at peace with that. But to really answer your question, and I have to say this honestly, there are good chefs and there are bad chefs. We don't sell to restaurants. We sell to chefs. We follow chefs because a beautiful ingredient in the hands of the wrong person can do more harm than good. Like education, a teacher can do more harm than good. So we follow the teacher. We try to partner up, be with the teacher and everything like that, our chefs. So for us, like Peter Franklin Kung at Ang Ang, what he did with caviar and congee was amazing. I was there for the very first bowl he did with me. It was absolutely insane. The creaminess, congee for the Asian community is what we all grow up with. It doesn't matter if you are old, and it doesn't matter if you are young. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor.
It's a quintessential
dish, right? And when we were talking about it, we're like, what about caviar and congee? And he thought about it, and he came up with this amazing dish, and he still has it on his, I believe he still has it on his menu to this day. I hope he does, because it was beautiful. It was the most simplistic thing. But right now, my favorite dish, if I were to name names, is a Nefele.
Nefele is great. He's
Francis.
so talented. Francis is so talented. Francis, when are you coming on my show? Come on, brother.
And get Paul too, because that guy's a talker.
Yeah.
That guy's a talker. I love him to death. But he does this roasted rice ice cream, and he puts a dollop of osetra on there. It just transcends. Everybody thinks, caviar is savory. Yes, it is. But savory and sweet really goes together.
It sure does.
Ebony and ivory. All that good stuff, good and bad, all the yin and yang, sweet and savory. You take a bite of that, it's absolutely amazing. And I have to mention one more person. I'm sorry to drop names, but Helmvig of CL. What he does now is amazing. But the very first time he did a caviar dinner with Caspiar, it was at Monkey Gallery when he was the head chef there and part owner. He did, oh my gosh, it just blew my mind away, the creativity. He did this small little fish, and it just came out, just wrapped in a little bow that was made of scallions. You unwrap that, and he's like, just unwrap the fish. I'm like, unwrap the fish? It just looks like a seared fish. I unwrapped the fish, I opened it up, and I saw a little bit of caviar. It was like a fish having roe, and you're opening it for the first time, you eat it, and the fish was completely deboned, and you just had it, and you taste the sea, you taste the oils, you taste everything, and it changed my mind about how passionate local chefs can be. And that's why I'm so supportive of local chefs. Yeah, I mean, these guys have never gone to cooking school, for goodness sake. They've gone abroad, yes, they've worked abroad and stuff like that, but they went to college and got economic degrees, and they left it all just to be in the kitchen to get burns, cuts, and scrapes for us. How wonderful is that?
Amazing. I had Tong on the show, and he talked about literally banging on doors just to wash a dish at every Michelin star restaurant that he could find in Scandinavia. Please let me wash your dishes so I can learn from you. I mean, the dedication and the passion is unbelievable.
It is. It absolutely is.
And I believe that you're right, that chefs are your greatest promoters.
They are. They're my marketing team. No matter what you say, they're my marketing team. And every Asian chef deserves a chance to work with ingredients they've dreamed about, they've read about, they've seen on chef's table. That's what they crave. If I can give that to them, more power to them. But not every chef is up to snuff. You drop this on certain flavors, it destroys it. And for let's say a person that says, hey, this chef, I love this chef, I love what he's doing, I'm going to go with this, he has a caviar dinner. And they go, and they taste caviar for the first time in a setting that flavors don't meld. Some chefs, some dishes do more harm than good. Yeah.
Well, can we get back a little bit to your farm?
Sure.
I'm doing another bump, by the way, guys.
Well, let me join you. Geez.
Please jump in here, brother, because this is a very rare thing that I get to do cataract bumps with my friend.
We're not even showing any love to the
blinis. The blinis are pretty, but it's just I'm all about the flavor of this beautiful product. Cheers.
Cheers.
So we discussed the different varieties that you do. How many varieties do you have in your line?
We have, counting everything in our line, we have Imperial Premier, we have Osetra, we have Amur, we have Beluga. I'm not supposed to say that, by the way. And we also have the albino sturgeon, the
yes.
Sterlet, yes.
And you said that your farm in Vietnam has the lower grade, which can be used as an ingredient. It's just a different texture because the water is different. Your main manufacturing is in China. And you have a lake. And these fish live in this lake.
Yes.
How do you pen them?
No.
So they're all swimming together?
We chip them. So we know which we chip them, so we know which fish is swimming where. We have it all electronic. We have software for this stuff. It's a very big business if you think about it. Okay,
because
so,
I'm saying, like, you know, do you only have the females in a pen?
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
only
only
females in a
females,
pen.
yes.
Okay. So because
after
like I
1
was
year,
going to
we know
say,
female,
like,
male,
what if the Osetra breeds with the beluga, and then you're creating a whole new
species.
species?
No,
Right.
we separate them after a few months when we know the sex of the fish. We separate them. So the male goes to a different farm. They grow up for a year, and they get big, and we sell them for meat. Sturgeon meat, by the way, is extraordinarily good. It's really,
I love
really good.
sturgeon.
It is, and it's very new to Vietnam as well, and people are liking it, and it's really nice. But we
Do you
separate
breed your fish as
them. We do.
well?
We spawn them.
You spawn them.
Yes.
So there's got to be a little like hanky-panky going
There
on
is.
between the male and the female fish
There
at
is.
some point before
There
you
is.
separate them, right? Because
There
you
is.
want to create more fish.
Of course.
To be able to
Every year.
sustain your business.
Yep. Every few months we spawn the fish. About 3 times a year we spawn the fish, and we put them together. Well, we get the eggs from the female, and then we get the sperm, and then we put them together and we just spawn them. Yeah. So
it's not a natural process. It's almost like in vitro fertilization with
we
fish.
know they're I guess when they're in heat. So we put them in, and they spawn naturally, and we gather the eggs and stuff like that. But we also do laboratory, so it's more clean, it's more sterile, I guess.
Got
stuff
it.
like that. It's more accessible, and it promotes cleanliness, and it promotes sustainability, and it gives us more of a control over the aspects, because honestly, 100 years ago, giving birth, 1 out of 3 women would die.
Right.
And now nobody, so it's more controlled, it's safer and stuff like that. And so we do that more. It is farming, it's technique, it's everything else. And for us, we've done a pretty good job so far. Yeah. So
But I mean, you said that how many tons did you?
67,000 tons.
Tons. And I know that you're not allowed to drop names because you're under like NDAs, but I know that you also, a massive part of your business is private labeling.
Yes.
And guys, all I can tell you is some of the biggest names that we're not allowed to say here right now, that's his caviar, just with a different fancy label.
Yes.
So how did you reach these major names in the industry with your Vietnamese and Chinese caviar and go, hey guys, we're Caspiar, do you want us to private label for you? I'm sure in the beginning they must have laughed their faces off.
Honestly, they found us.
Oh.
Yes.
You didn't have to search them.
No, because caviar is a very big business. It's a booming business, and there are so many brands out there, but most of the brands are marketing brands. I mean, they create beautiful labels, beautiful brands. They do so much marketing with chefs, with every restaurants and everything like that. For us, they come to us like, okay, we are in need of more Chat.Travel, we are in need of more hybrids, we're in need of whatever you have. Give us that. What do you have that's good? And so we send them samples, and like, oh, we want to visit your farm. We want to see what you're doing. We want to make sure that everything you tell us is real. So they come, we host them and stuff like that. My partner does, not me. But yes, we sell to basically every big name in the world. Caspiar.
No joke.
Caspiar literally is only about 1.2% of our production.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, Caspiar is my baby. It's my own brand for our farm. That's what we use. Our farm actually has another brand called Cerealia that's been around forever, and it's mostly sold in China and stuff like that. But honestly, China owns over 70% of the caviar markets.
Wait a minute, repeat that. China owns 70% of the world's of consumer.
They produce.
They produce over. Okay, got it.
So they own it. I mean,
so
caviar.
it's not Chinese people are the biggest buyers and consumers of, but they are the biggest production.
50, 60 years ago.
So it's not Russia anymore because it's been fished out of the ocean.
Pretty much. And there are farms in Russia, but honestly, right now, some of the best quality caviars in the world are from China. Honestly, I say this wholeheartedly. I don't care what anybody's feeling about China is. Sturgeons know no boundaries. They just want to make sure
They don't know what country they're in.
Exactly.
And I love China, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a big
It's
fan
gorgeous.
myself.
It's
So
beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
The food, the people, everything. I mean, like Vietnam, like everybody else, every country has its ups and downs, you know? But honestly, 50, 60 years ago, for some reason, the Chinese says, you know, we are going to own the caviar market in 50 years. They were that forward thinking. So now they own the caviar market. Yeah.
Can I ask you, I know we don't like to talk money, but what does 67, did you say 67 tons?
67,000 tons.
Se-
I'm sorry, 67 tons, yes,
67 tons.
Yes.
What does that equate to in sales?
Oh, well, if you think, let's say Horeca wise, let's say retail wise, just put
Retail,
retail
right.
wise. All right. 1 kilo of Cetro caviar in the world, the average is around $2,500 or $3,000,
Right.
depending on its grade. Our grade is A and A minus. So we roughly go between $2,700, $3,000. So $3,000 per kilo times 67 tons. 1 ton is 1,000 kilos.
Whoa. So
Put
it's a
that in
big
perspective.
business.
It's a huge business, and we are just a small part of it. I mean, producers like Kaluga Queen who do close to 100 tons a year, right? The people, caviar is a very big business. Nobody talks about. But it's great because, again, it's romanticized. It's very
It is,
romanticized.
and it's still considered luxury and
Yes.
unattainable. And, you know, although you've created a product that is attainable.
It's attainable in Vietnam only. The price we sell here is not the price we sell abroad.
And why do you do that? Because you want to be able to make it accessible to everyone.
I'm
In
Vietnamese.
Vietnamese.
I'm Vietnamese. I was born here. I want to bring the best to the people who live here, the people who've raised me, my community. If I can do that and still make a buck or two, I'm happy to do it. I'm not greedy. They buy directly from our farm. They buy directly from us, from our farm. We don't go through any middleman. We're happy to do it. I mean, money was never the case. And we got big because money was never the case.
Huh.
Yeah.
And you always walked into it with integrity.
Well, that too, but I'm sure a mentor of yours once always said to me, if you love what you do, money will always follow. As long as you walk the path of what you love, it's not really work. Money will always follow you. You don't need to follow it.
Right.
So I've been very lucky in life. I've been very lucky in business, and I'm very lucky now sitting here next to you.
Well, we're going to wrap it up soon,
Done.
but I want to talk about, because caviar, although my favorites, is not your only bit of
No,
food. You are
no.
now the largest smoked salmon exporter.
How weird is that, right?
Like, he creates smoked salmon and salmon products and is now the largest distributor in Vietnam for that
Yeah.
too. Like, and you're making sausages
We
and you're
are,
making
and smoked bacon, like the real smoked bacon you and I grew up with, where it's thick cut maple wood smoked bacon. You know what I mean?
So is that going to retail? Are you going to sell that at Moon Milk here in Da Nang?
You know what? It's funny to say that. We just signed a contract with Moon Milk. We are signing a contract with King Food. Our smoked salmon can be had at Mega. It can be had at Ang Nam and Saigon and stuff. Da Nang doesn't have a lot of local gourmet shops yet. But we just signed, so smoked salmon will be available here.
Because they have a smoked salmon and I have it in my fridge and it's
Good.
actually pretty good.
Thank you.
So, but that's yours?
No.
No. Well, I mean, can't wait to have yours in there because it's delicious. But that is a great store for you.
It is. I mean, they concentrate on Da Nang and Nha Trang, and
Will you put your caviar in there too?
No, we don't sell caviar in shops.
In shops.
Yeah, we still want to have it romanticized.
But you can't have it in like a certain gourmet shop where if you're not around and I can't call, hey, because in Saigon, I could just call you and say, hey, can you deliver me some caviar? I'm in Da Nang now. Where do I get it?
From our office. We opened an office here about a month ago. And so if anybody wants to buy anything retail, we deliver it directly to you from here. We don't sell a lot of retail because that's not who we are. And honestly, if I told you our price at retail, you've seen it, it's below many gourmet shops.
Right.
Because we're not about the money. We just want to make sure that you understand and love what you eat.
But what about our audience, right? If we have a bunch of foodies who watch this show, and what if they want caviar? How can they buy it?
Really easy.
I'm friends with you. I've got your Zalo, but these guys don't. So how do they do it?
Please don't give it away.
I'm not giving it away, man.
Facebook, Instagram. Look for Caspiar Vietnam. Ping it. We have 4 dedicated salespeople 24/7 on there, and they take good care of you. We have great promos. We have all that stuff. And again, the price that we sell to retail is lower than most gourmet markets. And we're happy to do it, honestly.
Because that's great. You know, that it's not just the wholesale. It's not only B2B, but it can also be B2C.
We just started.
It's not the major part of your business, but if you want to buy it, people can buy it.
Absolutely. And even smoked salmon now. You can just ping us and we send you 1 pack of smoked salmon. We're happy to do it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, because nowadays it's all about delivery, right?
And I've gotten delivery from him, and they're very, very quick. And if you love caviar like I do, and smoked salmon, and gourmet goods, and this guy who I love, support Caspiar Caviar. I got one final question for you, my friend.
Yes.
If you've had so many reinventions and recreations and reincarnations of you, if you had one bit of advice to give to an aspiring entrepreneur, especially in the luxury, gourmet luxury food industry, which is so niche, or really in a chef or a restaurateur, to sustain and reinvent, what exactly would that be?
I'm really glad you asked that question. I don't think I've ever told you this. I have not told my kids this either, but growing up, again, I came from very humble beginnings. And when I was a junior in high school, I had this 3x5. Remember the 3x5 cards?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I wrote on this card one motto. It's still my life's motto to this day. Risk everything, and everything is what you shall get. It was in my folder from junior year, senior year, all through my 4 or 5 years of college. 5 years of college. I went to the military, but risk everything. Because what's the point of living if you can't feel alive? Risk it all. Because at the end of the day, if you haven't risked, you haven't lived. That's my advice to any young chefs. If you think the flavors work, do it. The only thing you can do is just pick yourself afterwards if it doesn't. Brush it off and do it again. Simple as that.
Take a risk.
Exactly. A life without risk is not really a life, is it?
No, it's not.
Well, look at you, Tracy. You're here in Vietnam.
I am the poster child for
There you
taking a
go.
risk, right? So.
Yeah. So, I mean, of all your accomplishments, of all your travels, of all your journeys, it all started out with a simple, why not? Let's do it. It's a conviction. It's either in your DNA or not. If it's not, make it so.
All right, man. Cheers to that.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
We are going to wrap it. Jonathan, it is my honor and privilege to have you here. Thank you for taking your time
Thank you.
on your vacation with your beautiful wife to come to our little studio and talk to us about some caviar. But I did bring the Veuve, so we're even,
champagne's
right?
beautiful. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you all for watching Chat.Travel. I'm Tracy May. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, John.
You're welcome. And everybody, eat more caviar.